Hello loves, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be doing a patron voted video. They voted on 2. I just am now getting to film it because of the holidays, but this is going to be a focus on maintaining your spiritual practice. So these are going to be some of my tips. It's going to be a very quick video on maintaining your spiritual practice and how to be consistent within your spiritual practice. Okay, so first and foremost, we're starting off with like the most basic thing that you can think of, and that is taking care of yourself. Okay, just as you wake up every day and you know you have to brush your teeth, and you know you have to feed yourself, and you know you need to take a shower, you know you need to go to work if you need to go to work, whatever it is, responsibilities that you have for yourself. It is the same thing with your spiritual practice. You should have a daily and consistent spiritual practice. It doesn't have to be super intensive. It doesn't have to be you throwing a whole ceremony. It can be very minimal, and it's fine if it's very minimal. There's nothing wrong with it being minimal, but it's important for your practice to be consistent, for it to be on a daily. So for example, when it comes to you taking care of yourself spiritually, like whether or not, like for example, one of the things that I do is that if I had, let's say I had a dream, a prophetic dream, or even a nightmare or something that came through the night before, I will make sure that in my morning, my spiritual practice tailors to communing with my ancestors, meditating, seeing if there's any additional messages, what I need to know. Like I won't just go into my physical realm practice, like the things that I know I have to do, the brushing the teeth, the eating, the feeding myself. I will also include a spiritual aspect of what's going on, especially if I'm starting off the day with already messages from spirit like that. I like to hold space for myself to kind of meditate, sit in prayer, to sit with my spirits and be like, hey, what's going on? What's happening? What did you guys need me to know? What is it that you guys need me to work on? What's going on? So that way I can have the clarity for the day. That's part of my self-care, is taking care of myself spiritually. Because if I, a lot of people kind of brush off dreams, brush off kind of intuitive moments or intuitive like nudges, deja vu moments where things are just kind of like being shown to you, and people will brush it off and be like, I gotta go to work, and they'll just push it to the side of their head, and then a week later that thing that they were trying to warn you about will just come to pass, and you'll be reminded vaguely of like that moment that you had that you didn't pay close enough attention to. So it requires you to slow down and take care of yourself spiritually, which means practicing self-care, self-love, and making sure that you're holding space for your spiritual care just as much as you're holding space for your physical care. Okay, that is really, really important, because if you're not doing that, you're going to get lost in the sauce in your spiritual practice. You will get to the point where you don't know what you're doing, and when your intuition, it's almost like your intuition is screaming at you and you're not listening. And so it's kind of like you're trying to figure out what it is, what you're supposed to know. And Spirit's like, we sent you 3 dreams, we sent you a bird, we sent you a whole spider, and you still don't even know what you're doing because you haven't been paying attention to your care spiritually. So make sure that you are taking care of yourself spiritually. That's something that I feel like is really, really important to be consistent in your practice, is self-care. The second you incorporate and add and maintain a spiritual practice in your self-care routine, you're good. Like one of the other things that I like to do is wear my crystals. So I will get up for the day. I will go, I'll do the mundane stuff. I'll go brush my teeth. I'll go, I'll make sure I get breakfast. But then I'll go in with my ancestors, and then I will go into full glamour magic or protective magic or whatever it is that I'm working on. So I'll work with like a protection oil, or I'll be wearing enchanted crystals that I've already enchanted, anointed for specific things. I will work with different crystals for different things. Maybe my energy's off. Maybe I need a little bit more of a push. Maybe I need more grounding that day. I'll grab my nearest grounding crystal. Maybe, I had a bad dream. You know how we have those dreams of like, your partner doing something, and then you wake up in the morning, you yelling at them because they just that literally happens like randomly all the time with me and Babe. It's so funny. And then we're like yelling at each other about what Dream Abby and Dream Babe did. It's hilarious. But when that happens, and I feel like, like my subconscious is like showing me, like poking at my ego a little bit, I will focus on self-love. I'll grab like some rose quartz. I'll grab some flower agate. I'll grab like my go-to crystals, my jade, and I will just kind of start working a little bit, you know, ease my heart from any, like, you know, subconscious tension that I might be feeling or anything like that. Like, I'll just throw myself into that healing work in a very subtle way. So I'll put on the crystals, I'll put on my bracelets for whatever the reason, like, that I need for the day, like, and I will, you know, be working with my energy in a subtle way. So that way it's like I'm wearing it, I'm carrying it, but it's not necessarily like I'm going into a whole intensive 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour healing session with myself. It's more of like, let me just be supported. Let me be supported by my spiritual tools. So let me do that. Okay, let me do that. One of the other ways that I stay consistent with my practice is making sure that I do my daily reading. I know some people, some tarot readers do not recommend reading your own cards every single day, because let's be real, we biased, we're human, we're biased people. But the reality of it is that, personally, as a Gemini moon, I already get messages without the cards, but I still want to, it ends up being a confirmation for me most of the time. And then because the way that you guys know I do the higher self spread, I have it on the channel for those who want to know what it is. My higher self spread is specifically meant to dissect my mind in all of my consciousness, okay? Including my emotional consciousness, all of that. Because when I neglect what the chaos in my mind, I have a Gemini moon, my emotional energies is my mind, okay? So in order for me to process, you know, intuitively a lot of things, or understand the layers, or where I'm getting the information from, because sometimes I'll get messages, but you don't know where within your own consciousness you're getting it from. There are certain things that I'm getting from my unconscious mind, or my higher conscious mind connected with my spirits, or working with the divine, or some things I'm getting through my dreams, and that will give me some clarity on why I had that dream. If I'm pulling that subconscious card, like, why did I have that dream? What was the message? Why was that lingering there? So that allows me to maintain my mental health and my clarity, and it helps me balance out my consciousness. And I'm not saying, you know, this works for everybody. Not everybody might need to pull cards every single day. Everybody works in a different way. But for me, with all my Gemini, like, I need it. I need it. I need to know what's going on. And also my Capricorn side is very, very practical. So I need that routine to be like, okay, just talk to me. It's kind of like, you know how you text your partner, or you text your sister or whatever daily, like you're just texting back and forth. It's like that. Like, I'm just checking in with spirit. Like, how you doing? What's going on? What do I need to know? Okay, cool beans. All right. I got you. Okay. Thank you. It's kind of like this, just check-in with myself. So have some sort of check-in with yourself as well, especially when it comes to divination. It's really, really helpful, whether it be you have a pendulum, whether it be, you know, you are just, you know, working with energy. Maybe you're holding your palm stone, you have a crystal that you're just holding in your hand, and you're working with energy for like 5 minutes of the day. Whatever it is that you are gravitated towards on a daily is what you should be working on. For me, I like to pull cards and, you know, divine on what's going on energetic wise, especially because I get a lot of messages and they come from a lot of places. So I need to be able to discern and dissect it a little bit more, okay? In a very quick way. My higher self reading is literally like 4 cards. I ask spirit to give me 5 additional messages from my ancestors as well, just to, you know, have that. But it's 4 cards. It's very quick. It's very easy. 1 for the unconscious, 1 for the subconscious, 1 for the higher conscious, and 1 for the consciousness. It's very easy. It's to the point. It's sweet. And then I'll pull some oracle cards for any additional messages that I need to know. But it's very, very to the point. So I get the download of what's going on consciously very, very clearly that way. So that actually helps me quite a bit. And I would say that my last tip, really, I think my last tip on maintaining your spiritual practice, it really has to, it speaks on not only like you being consistent with your spiritual practice, but I think when it comes to maintaining your spiritual practice, you have to be a little bit flexible for how it grows. By the way, I'm sorry that my heater is singing to y'all right now. But you have to be flexible with how it's growing as well. If you are learning a new modality, if you are doing something new, if you're adding something new to your practice that you haven't tried before, or you're just now starting off trying, you have to make time for you to learn it. It has to be a skill that you flex and you learn, and you have to put in the time in order for you to master that skill set. And whatever it is, whether you're scripting, whether you're working on different like divination, whether you're learning tea leaf readings, whatever it is, you need to probably, you know, make yourself a cup of tea every day, and then, you know, read your cup, you know, like read your cup and see how you're building that skill, how your spirits are giving you messages through the leaves, all of these different things. It's really important for you to have that consistency, so that you can see yourself growing through your spiritual practice. It should be something that you want to do. You should not be forced to. I shouldn't have to be like, yo, you need to do this, you need to do this every. You should want to do it. If you want to grow in your practice, you need to be consistent in your practice, which means that you need to make time for your practice. If you value having beautiful smelling breath, you should value like that part of your practice that you're trying to develop in. So you need to make time for it, in whatever capacity works for you that makes you comfortable at the end of the day. Because ultimately maintaining your spiritual practice really speaks to your growth and development spiritually, and what you're willing, the time that you're willing to put into, you know, grow through it and kind of see it all the way through the end and actually end up mastering the skills that you are trying to master. But you have to put in the time to it. Like if you're trying to learn herbs, for example, maybe make yourself, you know, a different tea, work with different herbs, see how they feel energetically, look up the properties, study them, maybe work with that same herb in each different property that it may have in different ways. So maybe do a spiritual bath one day with that herb, maybe drink a tea, or maybe infuse it in some food, or, you know, like work with that herb in different ways, so that way you get to learn and build a relationship with those herbs. It's all about being consistent, being flexible to your practice, and allowing yourself not to get overwhelmed. Your spiritual practice should not be overwhelming, or you feel like, oh my God. It should feel like a solution. It should feel like, oh my God, you know what my spirit needs? The second you're like, you're trying to figure out what your spirit needs, you are trying to work with your spiritual practice. And so to stay consistent, you have to check in with yourself, and you have to do it daily. Just as you check in with yourself physically, just as you check in with yourself mentally, you need to check in with your spirit on a daily in order to make sure that, you know, you are where you're supposed to be. Because if not, there's going to be shifts that happen that are going to like feel very agitative, that you're not going to see them coming or know where they're coming from, because you didn't check in spiritually with your spiritual team. Aside from that, also having consistent prayers with your guides is also very important, and meditating is also very important in staying in communication and maintaining that space spiritually. Not everybody can do it all of the time. You don't have to meditate every day if you don't want to, but if you're trying to build that and flex that muscle, especially work on your crown, do it for quite some time. You guys know I always tell you guys, if you're starting off meditation wise, you should do 5 minutes a day in the morning. When you wake up, just meditate for 5 minutes. Put like a song or a meditation song that lasts literally 5 minutes, and then just meditate through the song. And then ease into more time, add more time along the way, and then kind of move through it there. Take it easy. Don't make your practice something that you don't like. Make your practice something that is effortless to who you are as a person. Make it that it's just like, oh, this is what I need. I know exactly what I'm about to do. You know what? I'm feeling a little foggy. Let me drink some tea and enchant it. You know what? I feel like I need more energy. I'm gonna make myself a smoothie with some, you know, some oranges, and I'm gonna bless it and ask for strength, because I feel like I need a little boost, a little sunshine. You know what? Let me go outside and sit in the sun for a few. Let me get some vitamin C's, and just sit in the sun. Let me do some sun magic. You can work with your practice in so many different ways. You just have to be flexible and listen to yourself with what you need in the moment. Okay. So those are my tips. I hope that they were helpful. There's going to be another patron voter video, so stay tuned for that, because that's coming up soon. I will definitely see you loves in the next video. Then you guys might be getting a thrift store haul soon, because I asked my mom if she could take me to the thrift store for my birthday, like, which before my birthday technically, it would be tomorrow. So you might be getting one of those soon. I will not say. So stay tuned for all of the future videos. Definitely thank you to the patrons who voted on this video, and stay tuned for the next one. For those who want to check out the Patreon, the link will be down below. I will see you left in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new. Have a blessed and beautiful day.